Peace, 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 peace. What's up, everybody? What's up? I want to say what's up to all the infinite creators out there. Y'all know what it is. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna be ready to go. Let me take a drink of this right quick. All right. There we go. First things first. I salute the divinity in you. I respect the divinity in you. Tonight we got none other than the infinite creator, Mr. Great. We got Mr. Great on tonight. Mr. Great, all the way from where you from, Mr. Great? Tell us where you from.
Well, originally, where I live right now.
Where you originally? Where you at right now? Let's go. Let's dive right into it.
All right. Hi, everybody. I can't see the other people, but originally I'm from Kenya. All right. And I came here, back in the 1997, right? Went to school and did a few jobs here and there, and got into real estate.
How old were you when you got to the United States?
19.
You was 19 years old?
Yeah.
And what was the experience? What was the experience for you getting here and leaving Kenya? How was it early on?
Oh man, it was like night and day, man. It's you coming from a third world country to a first world country, so everything was different. How people speak, the food here, the culture here. It was really, really different. But the good thing is when you're young, you can adapt, quickly.
Cool. So you got to tell us how you got your name, Mr. Great. How'd you get the name Mr. Great? We got to jump into that first. How'd you become this Mr. Great guy? All the infinite creators want to know how'd you become to be Mr. Great?
Mr. Great. All right, man. So I'm gonna go way back, right? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna start. A lot of your viewers don't know like how we connected, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we connected way back. What was that? 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
And we're going to real estate seminars, right? We're going to real estate seminars and stuff like that. And I met you at this real estate seminar. I think it was probably maybe Eastern or somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. And we started talking. Hey, you trying to get into real estate? I'm trying to get into real estate. We just started talking and vibing. And you started telling me, hey, have you ever listened to Tony Robbins? Have you ever listened to this inspirational and motivational speakers? And I was like, what's that? Mm-hmm. Right? So you started giving me the CDs, right? Back then, maybe there's younger folks over here, they're not used to the CD, but going, few years back, we used to put, grab a CD, put it in your car, and you listen to it.
Yes.
So anyways, I started listening to Tony Robbins. I started listening to a lot of different people, right? Motivational, inspirational speakers. And I was like, man, I kind of like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I started picking up the thing of doing affirmations, doing affirmations and being grateful, right? Mm-hmm. Writing affirmations down, being grateful. And as I started doing that for now I've been doing it for since like at least that 2009. I've been doing it for years. So a lot of people, every time they talk to me, they're like, "How you doing, Sam?" And I tell them I'm doing great, right? Because I got that vibe from listening and practicing the affirmations, right? The affirmations and being grateful. So it kind of pumped me up to be not really saying good. If somebody asks me how I'm doing,
mm-hmm.
You want to take it up higher. So I said, I started saying I'm doing great, I'm doing great. Yes, and then sir. Finally, probably like 3 years, maybe 3.5 years ago, at my church, right?
Mm-hmm.
This guy stood up. He said, "You know what, Sam? Every time you stand up and you talk to us, you're saying you're doing great. So we're gonna start calling you Mr. Great." Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And it don't matter. I mean, you meet me in the morning, you meet me at lunchtime, in the evening. You say, "How you doing?" I say, "I'm doing great." So
Mm-hmm.
people kind of just relate that, saying, "Hey, it's Mr. Great."
Okay, so one of my big things is creating and evolving. What is Mr. Great about? Tell me what you do.
So as far as the career goes, I'm in real estate, right? I help
Uh-huh.
clients looking to buy, to sell, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm more than that, because you find people coming to you, talking to you. They say, "Why do you always have this type of energy, right? Why do you have this type of energy?" And they say, it just starts with the ritual. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? Like,
Uh-huh.
I tell them every morning, for me to set my mind straight, I got to start with this ritual of being, I usually write down. I'll show you.
So how's Mr. Great feeling today? They want to know how you feeling today.
I'm feeling great, brother. Feeling great. I'm feeling great. So I just want to show. I don't know if you be able to give
Yeah,
me
yeah. Okay,
a
I can.
chance.
It's a little blurry, but I can see it. Yeah, I got you. I got you. So
You, you,
what are you showing us, Mr. Great?
so what I'm trying to show you, and you know what, my camera is not that clear, that clear. But what I'm
Yep.
trying to show you, let me see. Hold on. Let me see what.
Yeah. Okay. Got you. Yeah.
Hold on.
There you go.
So you see how down here I'm talking about formations,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
And then that's our formations, and then I go up a little bit. I'm gonna turn it like this, and then gratitude. You see there, right there, gratitude, and
Yeah.
affirmations.
Uh-huh.
So what I'm trying to tell your audience, right? You're
Uh-huh.
asking me what's making me feel great, why I have that type of vibe, is because every morning when I wake up, I write down what I'm grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
I speak it, right? I say it, and I say my affirmation. So the more grateful I become, the more I get that vibe to be, to just give people the proper vibe. So a lot of people, will come to me because they say, "Hey, you seem like you have a great attitude.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I just tell them, my ritual, what I do, and if I can, give somebody a pointer to help them, with growing, that's what I do.
Okay. So you hit on something for me just now. You said your ritual. Your
Yeah,
ritual.
yeah.
What is a ritual to you? Tell me what is a ritual to you, because some people, they hear this thing and they might get spooked out about it. But I want you to let me know what does it mean for you to have a ritual?
So you can call it whatever you want to call it. I just call it a ritual, right? Somebody else can say it's my routine, right? It's my
Uh-huh.
routine. Somebody else,
Okay.
whatever you want to call it. It's just something that I do on a daily basis, often, to keep my mind straight, right?
Uh-huh.
To have that positive attitude before I leave my
Mm-hmm.
house. You know what I mean? To give
Yep.
that great attitude to my kids, to my wife. So it's something that I do on a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
just to be, in a great mood.
Cool, cool. And how long you've been doing this for?
I'll say at least since 2008, 2007.
2007. So
Yeah.
what have been like some of your inspirations? Who have been some of your inspirations, and what have even inspired you to get into real estate? Like you said, we started out wanting to be a real estate investor. I took another path. You became a real estate guy. So you're a real
Yeah.
estate guy. You know what I'm saying? And you Mr.
Yeah.
Great. What
Yeah.
inspired you? What inspired you to keep going? What was your drive to become Mr. Great?
Well, so let me put it this way. Years ago, so when I was growing up, right,
Uh-huh.
my dad he used to bring farm, farm products, right? He
Uh-huh.
used to bring different kind of things from the farm. He bring it to the city, and then I'll take the stuff like eggs, eggs, different type of fruits. They have like mangoes, bananas, stuff like that. Like you bring it from the farm, right? And then I would go and sell it at the market.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like that. I said, man, when I grow up, I just want to be, I want to get into my own business. I want to do my own thing
Mm-hmm.
because I found myself it was easier, to interact with people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I went to Bridgewater State. They call it Bridgewater University right now, right? And I
Uh-huh.
did business management, right? But my
Okay.
biggest thing was I don't want to be, I kind of don't want to be employed. That wasn't my thing, right? So I graduated from college, right? I got into the industry. I worked with this company. It's a financial institution. But the funny thing is, once I got there, my first day at work, I was like, man, this is not me.
Uh-huh.
So, my first day, my first week, and then I got this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, right?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Once
Go
you read
ahead.
that book, once you read that book, your mind shifts, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I need to get myself into a business. So I had different ideas, but I just made it simple. I said, I'm gonna get into a business which people always gonna will need it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's real estate, right? People need a shelter on top of their head. You know what I'm saying? So if the economy goes up, down, sideways, people still gonna need a place to live. But I thought it was gonna be easy.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? I thought it was gonna be easy. I thought it was gonna be those infomercials that you see two o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
A,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
a guy in Florida with a Hawaiian T-shirt, drinking margarita.
So what would be your advice to anybody? Like I said, we've got infinite creators here. This is a
Yeah,
community that we're building. What would you tell them if they wanted to get into real estate? Right? I'm a young guy. I'm 18, 19, 20, and I say, Mr. Great, I'm trying to be in the real estate. How
yeah.
do you save yourself time and get going and making money now? What would be your advice to somebody like that?
So my advice would be, you know, why? Why do you want to get into real estate? You know what I'm saying? If you're thinking you want to get into real estate for money, right? For
Uh-huh.
quick money,
Uh-huh.
you might not last too long in the business, right? You got to find your big why. Why do you want to get into real estate? Why do you want to get into clothing business? Why do you want to do this business as opposed to that one? You got to find
Mm-hmm.
your big why. So my
Okay.
big why was,
All right.
really I want to support my family. I want to support, continue to support my mom,
Uh-huh.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
just create generational wealth.
Uh-huh.
But when I got into it, I learned pretty quickly. I had a mentor, and this mentor said, Sam, um, this is gonna take a while. This is
Mm-hmm.
not like you get into the business and then you're making millions of dollars. Day one, you
Uh-huh.
gotta take your time,
Okay.
but you gotta take care of your clients,
Uh-huh.
right? So
Uh-huh.
anybody that's trying to get into real estate, I'm gonna say, number one, you gotta make sure you're there for your client. You're there to take care of your client. Don't look at the money. The money will come after. But if you don't take care of your clients,
Uh-huh.
that's what's gonna happen. They're not gonna give you a good referral. So
Okay.
everybody's gonna be going the other way. So
Okay.
you gotta find your big why. Once you find your big why, if you're gonna get into, something like, what I do, the second thing is make sure you take care of your clients first before you think about the money.
Okay. That brings me to we don't compete, we create. That's what the infinite creators do. We don't compete, we
Yeah,
create. So
yeah.
you hit on your big why. You can you explain to the infinite creators out there what a big why is?
The big why could be something like, I mean, I'll tell you mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got kids. You
Uh-huh.
know it. I got kids,
Mm-hmm.
and also, I got my mom,
Okay.
right? So my biggest why that I go out there is to be able to support my family
Mm-hmm.
and also continue supporting my mom, and
Uh-huh.
my in-law, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's my biggest why,
Mm-hmm.
right? So every morning I wake up, I say, why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I want to have, create something for my kids that, 10, 15, 20 years from now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to place them in a spot that they're going to start from a different level. When I came to America, I didn't have any of that, right? When I
Uh-huh.
came to America, man, I had to do like crazy jobs, and I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to place my kids on a level that you know what I'm saying, they're gonna be ahead of the game.
Okay. Cool. So when you were just talking to me about your big why and things like that, I know for you said you've been in real estate for years, and
Yeah.
even me when I'm doing real estate and learning real estate, you always hear them saying you don't need a real estate license, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. You could be an investor. And was there any importance to that, or was there any validity to that you don't need a license, or you don't have to have a license to do real estate deals and to find property and to make money? Do you need to go to school for this? That's what I'm trying to get at.
So no, you don't need to have a license. You don't need to. Now, remember when I got into real estate, right? I started just like an investor. We used to meet at the investment meetings, right? We used to meet over there, and because we're like, oh, we want to be investors. And I used to hear, till today, I still hear the same kind of tone, right? You
Mm-hmm,
don't need
mm-hmm,
a real estate license. You don't need to do, which is true. You don't need a real estate license to do deals. But if you really, really, really want to understand this game,
uh-huh,
and that's where I used to get stuck, right? I go to real estate investment meetings. They say you don't need a license. Once you leave over there, you're like, all right, how do I fill a contract? How do I do, certain things, right?
mm-hmm,
So for me, it was, and it took me about maybe 2, 3 years before I got my real estate license. Because everybody that I used to talk to, I'm telling them, hey, about real estate wholesale and lease options, stuff like that, right?
yeah,
They used
uh-huh,
to ask me, are you a real estate, are you licensed? You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
uh-huh,
And then it just got to a point. I said, you know what? If I really, really, really want to understand this business, I gotta get my license.
uh-huh,
So I went to school for it, and did the exam, got my license, and now I started working under somebody who's been doing the business for a while.
mm-hmm,
When you get a real estate license, you can work for any brokerage, right? At the end of the day, it's commission based, so it's not like it's not like you're an employee. You gotta go out there, you gotta hustle, right?
mm-hmm.
So my advice to somebody who's thinking to get into real estate would be, do you want to do it as a side gig? Do you want to do it? If you say you want to do it as an investor, you gotta need to hire a mentor, right? Somebody who's in the business and somebody who's doing it, right? If not, you gotta look for a real estate guy, somebody like has a license like myself,
Mm-hmm.
that understand the markets, understand that, hey, if you look at that property, it's 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, it's listed for 150. If you fix it up, how much you gonna sell it for? You need
Mm-hmm.
somebody like that to help you with the information.
So
um
what so what was the benefits of you of finding a mentor, and could you help the creators understanding what the importance of having a mentor means?
yeah, so I'll tell you this, man. I mean, yeah, once I got my license, I mean, it took me a few years, to get like a really, good mentor. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Because this is what's gonna happen. If you're looking for a mentor, you either pay pay them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You either pay them or hire them, or you either, some mentors, they say, all right, you don't have money to pay me, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be sending you to do stuff at like, let's say a mentor would buy a property and they tell you something like, I need a painter, you need to come and paint this. So you gotta offer, like, that type of a service to a mentor, because at the end of the day, you want to know what they know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I went through all that. I used to, again, I had different people. Some people will be, I've helped, paint people's houses, and I didn't get paid, because the guy was like, "Hey, you want to learn what I know?"
Do you think having a
Well,
mentor? Do you think having a mentor is really necessary?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So without a
It
mentor,
is,
right?
it is,
Go
it
ahead.
is, because Chris, in 2016, right? So
Uh-huh.
I started with one company, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And then I was like, man, I'm not even getting, the information that's in here. I'm not really advancing. So I looked at different people that I want to, be associated with. So I knew this guy from Remax, and I know, about the same age. Something, we have almost similar backgrounds and stuff, and that's gonna be very important. You kind of want to find somebody that you can relate. It's easier to talk to them and stuff like that, right? You don't want to
Mm-hmm.
hire a mentor who's always, trying to beat you down to, for you to get better. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm like, I need to hire somebody that we kind of, we can relate, right? So in 2016, I got this guy, and now he took me from bottom, and every year, my business has been going up and up and up. So do you need a mentor? Yes, you do, man. You know,
From
yes, you
from
do.
your experience. So did it cost you a lot of money without having a mentor? Did you lose money? Did you lose deals? What happened without that mentor?
So when you don't have a mentor, think about it this way, right? You could be in business for 3 years, right? 3 years or 4 years, and you don't have a mentor, and all you're doing, in those 3 years, 4 years, you just banging your head on the wall, trying to figure it out, right? But when
Mm-hmm.
you have a mentor, they've been there, done that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's gonna take you 3 years, but for me, if I get a mentor, my process, is gonna, start like right away. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
So
So,
the
so
creators. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, I'm just saying that the purpose of a mentor is really somebody who's gonna help you grow from, because they've been there, done that, right?
Uh-huh.
A lot of people that I talk to, like yesterday, I was talking to you know this young kid. He wants to get into real estate and stuff, and I could see myself, 10, 12, 13 years ago. I used to think like that kid. Then I
Okay.
said, all right, these are the steps that you need to do, right?
Okay.
These are the
Uh-huh.
steps that you need to do.
Okay. So what are some good tips? How many mentors you had to go through before you found your mentor? And give us some good tips on finding a good mentor, because the creators want to know, what is it going to take to
Yeah.
find a good mentor?
So listen, you can have, so before I got my real good mentor, I was
Uh-huh.
watching a lot of YouTube videos, real estate
Uh-huh.
videos, right? So
Mm-hmm.
somebody might follow somebody on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and you might not talk directly to them, but you're just following, things that they tell you that you need to do. So I watched like a lot of real estate videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the right mentor came, I knew exactly, exactly what I'm looking for, right? So it took
Mm-hmm.
me, like I said, it took me at least a good 5 years, 5 years, 6 years,
Wow.
before getting
Wow.
the right mentor, you know.
So
Now
so
this
that
is the
had to be.
thing. When you get a mentor, they're gonna ask you to do things, right? They're gonna ask you, hey, you need to do this for your business. You need to do this, and you, if you don't do it, most of these mentors, they'll just tell you, hell, I don't think you're ready. You know what I'm saying? So they drop you.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was like, the guy was saying, you need to do this. And I used to overthink it. I'm like, why do I need to do it? The guy in the YouTube said I should do it differently. But the guy, my mentor said, you just need to listen to what I'm telling you. I've been there, done that, right? And you gotta trust the process. And that's the
Mhm.
biggest thing for a lot of people. They don't trust the process, right?
So, yep. So what's the hardest thing that you've encountered? What's the did you have an expensive like lesson, or was there a deal that you got into that really like stressed you out? What was the toughest obstacle that you had to overcome with your mindset, with your attitude, with becoming Mr. Great? What was your big obstacles?
I'd say in my business, is the paralysis of analysis, right? You're saying you want to do something, you want to get into a certain business, you want to get into real estate, and you keep on reading and reading books and listening to YouTube videos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So
got
you keep on listening and listening and listening and listening, but you don't take that step of faith to go out there and try to make the deal work. And the
you.
toughest thing is, I remember this agent said, "Hey, listen, why don't you do an open house for me?"
Uh-huh.
And I was new. I haven't done any business. I haven't sold. I haven't helped anybody buy or sell. Right. And I went to this open house, man. I'm like, man, I just, and people started coming in, and I'm just hoping they don't ask me any questions, right, about the
Yeah.
property, you
Uh-huh.
know. And that was tough, man. That was tough because, you know, it's like in your mind you're thinking these people can tell you haven't sold anything, right? That's what your mind is telling you, right?
so
But
so so they thought Mr. Great was a fraud before he became great.
yeah, no, what I'm saying, what I'm
Yeah,
saying, you asked me what is the toughest thing that
yeah,
I
uh,
you know that I
yeah.
had to overcome, right?
Uh-huh,
So
uh-huh,
the toughest thing that I had to overcome
uh.
is
Your
this,
mindset. Yeah, your
yeah,
mindset, your attitude.
the mindset and the attitude to,
Uh,
because you have all these voices telling you that,
uh-huh.
man, you're trying to sell real estate, you're trying to tell people about real estate, but you don't really know what you're talking about, right?
Okay.
You haven't done a deal, you haven't helped anybody bought or sold anything, right? So I have my license, but now I'm thinking, you know,
Yeah.
but on the outside, these people coming to the property to look at the property, they
Mhm.
don't even really care about that. They just want, they have one or two questions, right?
Uh-huh.
So if you get, really good at understanding what the questions, the objectives, right, and how you're supposed to respond,
Mhm.
then you just overcome that. So
Okay.
it's usually a mindset thing that's really, really hard for a lot of people, right?
Mhm. So
You
you
know what I'm
had to.
saying?
Yep. So how did you trust your mentor? First of all, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. How did you find a mentor? How did trust in your mentor? I guess that would have been a big challenge. And how did you learn how to listen to the voice in your head? And how did you overcome, your mindset and the mental attitude in your mind in order to keep going forward? How'd you overcome that?
How did I overcome that?
Yeah.
So remember I told you I started doing affirmations
Uh-huh.
and being grateful, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
for years, I started, like let me put it this way, on a daily basis, I started putting, stuff in my head. I used to, wake up. I had a job that I used to, had to wake up very early in the morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and I had to go deliver, things, like medical stuff and stuff like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
used to wake up like 4:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
first thing that I would do, right, is to set my mind straight, right? So at that time, listen, my mind is playing games with me, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I learned that, the more you keep on saying something, it's gonna appear real in your mind. So every morning I used to wake up before I go to my job. I used to say, this is what I used to say. I used to say, and I still say it today, I will never, never give up, no matter how many obstacles or pain endure or encounter, because these things are nothing compared to my desire to succeed.
That's dope.
And I used to say that every
That's
day,
dope.
you know, every day,
Wow.
every day. So that kind of gave me the fuel of, staying on course, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
the other thing is, you want to listen and you want to hang out around like-minded folks. Because again, I have friends, but back then, man, I used to tell them, yeah, I'm getting to real estate, and that's when the market was, that's when the market went down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in the
Mm-hmm.
2009, 2008, 2010,
Yep.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
everybody that I'm talking to, they say, "You crazy, man? This dude is crazy. How are you gonna get into a business that is going down?"
Mm-hmm.
So I decided that I'm not gonna tell them I'm not gonna tell them what my dream is.
Mm-hmm.
So watch a lot of YouTube videos. I decided I'm gonna go on YouTube. I'm gonna buy the right books, listen to the right books, and this is the other thing. Um, I call my car University on Wheels, right?
Mm-hmm.
My car, like when again. So for years I never listened to the radio. For years I never watched the news, right? Because I didn't. News is all negative, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you listen
Mm-hmm.
to the radio, yeah, they're playing music and stuff like that, but you're not really learning anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So while I was doing that job, I mean, I was several hours in my vehicle, like driving and stuff like that. So I used to put like, the proper CDs, the, Think and Grow Rich, The Secret, the Tony Robbins. I used to put real estate, CDs and stuff like that. So that's all I used to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
So slowly and surely, my mindset started changing. And then I just decided I'm gonna be hanging out with people who are in real estate, people who are doing the same thing that I'm trying to do or where I want to go. And that's how I was able to overcome all that stuff, right?
All right. Uh-huh. Well, give us a high. Give us a high point in your career. Tell us something good about Mr. Great that made that you feel like was an accomplishment.
I think my first time that I felt I really really accomplished in my real estate is once I got that mentor and he helped me that year, and I was able to make six figures. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, man, this is huge. Now I gotta tell you guys one thing too. I journal on a monthly basis, right? So I told you I do my affirmations and I write what I'm grateful for. But also I journal too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I journal on a monthly basis. And before I hit six figures, to write for I'm gonna make 100,000. I'm gonna make 100,000. And then you know 5 years later down the road, I finally cracked that ceiling, right? So my mentor was like, all right, yeah, you do it the first time, but for you to really put it up here for your mindset to really grasp that, you gotta do another two times or three times, right? And it was never
Mm-hmm.
easy, but the first time it was very very tough.
Well, I think Sam just dropped out on us, guys. Hopefully we can get him back. Sam he's from Kenyan, and he's a real estate guy. He's an agent, man. He's I don't know if you guys can still hear me, and he's definitely he goes by the name of Mr. Great. Mr. Great. Hopefully we can get him back. He's from Kenya. There we go. He's coming back right now. I'll put him back in the stream. There we go.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
you dropped out, but you back. Go ahead. You back.
okay.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just saying my first biggest obstacle was really to at least do that six figures. You know what I mean? Because it's something that I used to write all the time, that I want to achieve this, I want to achieve this. And then you get to that, and now you're trying to go to different levels, right?
So
But
yeah.
so what I'm trying to say is, you gotta write it down, right? You gotta have like a vision board. You gotta journal, wherever you want to go, whatever you want to try to do, right? That you think it's huge, you gotta write it down, and you gotta journal, and you gotta visualize and see yourself getting there.
Okay. So how did you start? Just so some of my guys who just coming in, how did you start? Did you just start out doing real estate, or did you what was the beginning?
Starting as far as what?
Real estate.
So I want to get I want to understand your question. Like,
Okay.
say one more time.
All right. They want to know how you got started. I know we already went through this before, but how did you get started even in real estate? What made you decide to do that?
Well, like I said before, I wanted to get into a business, right? I wanted to do my own business. And for me, I just say, actually, it sounds silly, but I say, you know what? I'm gonna let the basic needs of humans, right? Part of the clothing, oxygen stuff, but shelter, shelter is one of the basic needs that a human person is gonna need, right? So when I thought about real estate, I knew like, all right, if I get into this business and I'm really, really, pay a lot of attention and put a lot of hard work into this business, it's gonna take me somewhere, right?
Okay.
Now my thought process, I thought it was gonna be easy. Remember what I told you earlier? Because I used to watch, all these people, TV, HGTV, hey, you stop property, you make it. So I used to think it was gonna be that easy. But once I really got into it, and I'll say seriously, I got into it once I got licensed.
Okay.
Right? Once I got my license, that's when I said, all right, I gotta be serious about this stuff. Because prior to getting licensed, I had taken a lot of seminars. I had paid, what I mean? Like back in the days, you used to pay for seminars. You used to, they had these different packages. You can go to. I used to go to Florida, right, and spend a lot of money, trying to learn real estate. But somebody and those were the guys who used to tell us that you don't need a real estate license, to make it happen, right? But once I got my license, then that really was all right. Now we gotta grind. We gotta grind. Like I said, it's never gonna be easy, especially if you get into whatever your career is. If it's gonna be like in sales, it's never gonna be easy because you get a lot of rejections, right?
And how do you handle rejection?
Well, now I mean now I've gotten to a level whereby I'm trying to help you, right? And if you don't see that I'm trying to help you, and you want to go another route, that's fine. So I'm okay. I'm okay with that, right? When I meet every client, my thing is to give them the proper advice, right? So if they choose to work with me or choose to work with somebody else, I'm already okay with that. Remember, every morning when I wake up, I say what I'm grateful for. Several things that I said that I'm grateful for. I do my affirmations. So my mindset is, I come from abundance, right? So if I don't work with you, somebody else is gonna come, and I'm gonna work with the other person.
There you go.
So you gotta learn. The more you learn to be more grateful, those little things like being rejected and stuff like that, it's gonna be easy for you to overcome that stuff because you're grateful. You're always grateful for everything. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. They want to know, did you get a job to get money to start your career? Did you have a job before you even got into your career, or what?
So when I got licensed, I started real estate like part time, right?
Okay.
I had another. Remember, I told you I used to do that at a job early in the morning.
There you go.
And then things started happening. Some people used to ask. At that point, listen, I'm like, yeah, I want to do real estate. I got my license, right? But the thing with real estate is, if you don't have a deal going, let's say you have a deal today, right? That deal
Uh-huh.
could take 30, 45 days before it closes,
Wow.
unless it's a cash buyer. But
Mm.
think about 30, 45 days later, right? So, I used to have that part-time job, but people used to ask me, man, are you, you say you're in real estate, do you do it full-time or do you do it part-time? And then after a few years, I really had to make up my mind that, I gotta go. If I'm gonna do it, I gotta go all in. Now, I gotta tell your audience that it was not easy, man. It was not easy. Remember at that time I had kids, right? I still had kids. I had a family to feed. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, man, it was really really tough, man. It was really really tough because the check doesn't come fast enough. You get your bills. You get late to pay your bills. You know, remember I got my wife too, and
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
a lot of ladies they like security. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
absolutely.
she's looking at me like, "Hey, Mister, whatever, you know, you, here are the bills, man. What are you gonna do, right?"
Uh-huh.
So it was
Mhm.
not easy, but at the same time, I continue, doing, the right things. I continue, calling people. I continue doing my ritual. You know, I gotta tell you, man, if I wasn't doing that stuff in the morning, and it was not just in the morning, sometimes I would just be driving and I'll say, I'll never give up, no matter how many obstacles of pain. I used to say all that stuff. I used to say I'm great. I used to say I can do this. If anybody can do it, I can do this, man.
There
I
you go.
got this. So I mean, like if you were driving and I'm driving, you probably would think that I'm crazy because you'll see me like talking in my vehicle and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
But I used to, I really, you have to use that power from within to convince your mind that you can do it, you know? Because I
Wow.
gotta tell you, like, not everybody, even people like, it could be your family, could be your kids, could be your brother, sister. I can say like my mom was like, man, what are you trying to get into? This real estate thing, you know? And she would look around and she would see most of my friends or people she knew, they were in the nursing field, right? She was
Mhm.
like, why don't you go to school, nursing for 9 months, get your license, and then start nursing and start making some money, right?
Mhm.
And we used to go back and forth, and just one day I said, Ma, listen, man, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna stick with real estate, and this is what I'm gonna stick with, right? Remember, Ali, I told you about journaling. So I
Yep.
got my journal. I got somewhere. I got I got somewhere that I can show you dates and time that we had that conversation that I wrote down, right? And those kind of things, were able to channel me to continue doing what I'm doing. But you got to start it from within, man, because it's you know not everybody is gonna believe in your dreams, and some people it's not really they don't believe in your dreams, they don't know any better, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Remember, my friends, my family, um, they didn't know any better, so they used to say, why don't you just do this other thing? You can get quick money. And now when you flip now, a few years later, right? One of my proudest moment was so I sold a house to my sister, so I was really really proud about that. But
Mhm.
my biggest sale, I always say my it wasn't more money or anything like that, but just the sale itself was my mom.
Mhm.
Remember, like 5 years earlier, she was telling me, man, you need to go do something else, right? But now when I sold the property to her and she was signing the documents, I was telling myself, man, if I gave up, she could have still bought a property, but somebody else would be on the other side representing her,
Okay.
you know?
So, all right.
Now today, she's one of my biggest fans, you know?
Absolutely. So, do you think it was your spirituality or your faith that got you there, or What can you tell us about that? What was there in you? Because you keep on talking about the power within. So talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta, and I know it sounds crazy, but you gotta talk to yourself, man, and tell yourself you can do it. Because if you don't believe in yourself, who else is gonna believe in you, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're
Right.
right. Yeah, you're right. You're
So
right.
if you don't believe in your product, who else is gonna believe in your product,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta start, you gotta start from within. You gotta, of course, you gotta take that step of faith, right? You gotta take that step of faith and believe that you can do it, or whatever you want to call it. Some people call it, they use the higher power, something like that.
Whatever
I
you
go
call
with
it
this
is fine.
thing. I go with this thing. I say you ask first,
Mm-hmm.
you believe,
Mm-hmm.
you take action,
Mm-hmm.
and then you receive.
All right. I got you.
So
I got
ask,
you. Uh-huh.
believe.
Believe. Mm-hmm.
When I
And
say
take action.
believe, that's you believe that you can do it. You take action, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I say take action, you can also put there, have faith. Take action with faith, right? And
Uh-huh.
then receive.
Okay.
Ask, believe, take action, receive.
That's a good formula. I like that formula. What about gold or silver? You do anything with gold and silver? You do anything with anything else, or it's just real estate mainly?
I just do real estate. Um, right now, but we've been talking about like I need to also do like start like a YouTube channel, and I'm gonna work on that because I just have to find there's a few things that I need to work on, but
Mm-hmm.
I started I decided focus with real estate because I didn't want to start, and this is where a lot of people go wrong, right? You start one thing, you're not even a year, doing that. You start another one, and then now you got three, four, five things that you're trying to do at the same time. So for me, I told myself, I'm gonna focus with real estate. I'm gonna give myself time, right? Now it's been several years. So now when I want to like tap into something else out of my real estate, I can do that because I said, let me focus with real estate. Let me know all the basics, whatever that I need to know about what I'm doing here about real estate. And
Okay.
then now today, when somebody comes to me and they say, "Hey Sam, would you be on my podcast and talk to people about you?" I can be like, "Yeah, I can talk to them because I focused with one thing, and then I can give you my experience, and now I can tap into other things that I want to tap into."
Okay. I know basically you're talking about chasing shiny objects, and a lot of time in real estate, they can tell you what's the best way to buy, whether it's lease option, whether it's seller owner financing, of for sale by
Wholesaling.
owners, wholesaling.
Yeah.
So there's a
Yeah.
100 million ways to buy real estate, and I get what you say. You have to focus on that one thing first. That one thing first, and then go to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Where can they find your channel? Where could the other infinite creators find your channel on YouTube?
So that's something that I'm working on, right? I have this YouTube channel, but I'm not really talking about maybe barely real estate. It's just kind of like a goofy channel if you put down Samson Kimani, right? But now I want to get serious. I told you about it, so I want to create a channel that is gonna be of value to people. You know what I'm saying? I just
Mm-hmm.
started doing the YouTube thing. Just started, but it's not really goofing around. It's remember one of my affirmations is I always tell myself on a daily basis. You know, I'm making money. In several. I'm making money with several streams of income. So YouTube is one of those channels that I'm gonna use to make money, and you gotta be okay with it. I sometimes people when it comes to talk about money, they're very, very uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because people feel like they don't deserve it. They look at somebody else, that person is making this much money or whatever, and people feel, all right, that person can do it. That's a celebrity. That's that's somebody playing in the NBA. That's somebody playing the NFL. They can make that money, but when they look at themselves, they don't feel like they can make that kind of money,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So YouTube is gonna be, one of the channels that I use. Um, but I also I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna. This is a little bit off the subject, but I'll tell you, one of the things that continue to help me grow, right,
Mm-hmm.
in the business, as a person and stuff like that. Um, I would say, I usually tithe. So everything that I get, I pay 10% off that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like I didn't know about it. Some of us, we grew up in church and stuff like that. So it's not like I didn't know about it, but I just never really paid attention. Now, my biggest thing was I used to see, every time, it's. I'll tell you, before I started doing it, I just felt like my career. It's like like I'm hitting a wall and I can't go through that wall,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I decided, all right, whatever that I make was not easy. I mean, whatever that I make, I'm gonna take this portion here. If you want to give it to if you want to give to something that you support, if it's a hospital or something like that, I'm not gonna tell you where to give it, but I started taking that portion and started giving out. So remember when I tell when I was saying about being grateful and being thankful.
Uh-huh.
So, but by doing that, right, I'm just saying, thank you, Lord, for, hey, I woke up today, I'm healthy, whatever, so I'm given this portion. So by doing that practice, it's something that, it's something that also, just helped me, not only in my business, but, in other things.
Okay. So what advice would you give to 15-year-old Mr. Great? What would be your advice to your 15-year-old self?
15, oh man, that's young, man. That's young. I would say, whatever they want to, all right, I'll tell them, start listening to motivational, inspirational, um start listening to that more often, right?
Uh-huh.
I would tell them, kids that you hang around, you gotta, you gotta be careful, right? I would say, just because you're 15, you can still attain so much, you know, by when you're 20 or 21, because you go to school and and the way they teach you at school, they don't teach you that you can achieve these things at a younger age, right? They tell
Mm-hmm.
you, all right, finish high school, go to college, find a regular job, and then when the time you turn, like, almost 40 or 40, that's when you're like, oh man, all that, whatever they taught me,
Uh-huh.
you know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
professor teach you what they know and what's been taught for years and years and years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they think they want to be a business person, hey, go to business meetings. Go to if you can't go to business meetings, just be on YouTube, look at successful people and learn from them.
Wow, that's some good advice. What do
And
you what
take
do you
time, and take time, and take time. Be patient. Be patient. Don't try to. You can, but I'm just saying.
yeah,
In life you gotta be patient, right? If you're starting
yeah.
a business, you got to be patient, man. You take 5 years, 6 years, 7 years to you know
All right. My guys want me to respect, I always do this. I gotta do it, Sam. I gotta do it,
yeah,
Mr. Great. I do this every time we come on. The first thing first, I salute the divinity in you. I respect the divinity in you. You know what I'm saying? I always do that. I
yeah,
respect the divinity in you and I salute the divinity in you. So,
yeah,
I understand You got any tips on like fitness routine? What do you think about the school system? So and your purpose. What can you say about things like that?
So you said the first thing was fitness.
Yeah.
So fitness. Hey, I exercise at least every other day, man. You gotta.
Uh-huh.
That's good for your mindset. You gotta exercise, man. You have to. When you exercise, you feel more confident, right?
Uh-huh.
When you
Uh-huh.
exercise, you feel more confident. All
Mm-hmm.
right, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
it's good for your mind too, right?
Uh-huh.
It's good for your health.
Okay.
So my advice to people is, yeah, you gotta exercise, and I don't care, man. COVID, no COVID, the gym closes, don't
Uh-huh.
close.
Uh-huh.
Like I'll tell you right now, during COVID, the gym are closed, right?
Uh-huh.
But I'll go to my backyard and there's a swing set. You do your burpees, you do your pull-ups, your chin-ups. You gotta you talk about creating and be creative. You gotta
Uh-huh.
do what you have to do. No excuses, my friend. No excuses. All
So
right. Well,
so how do you finesse the school system? They want they want
the
to know.
school system.
Yeah, how could you finesse the school system? How could you get around the school system?
Well, I mean, this there's no way to get around it. What I'm gonna this is what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
This is what I'm gonna say. Right.
Uh-huh.
So, all right. Years ago, again, before I got into real estate, I started looking at who are the successful people, the careers and stuff like that. What is one of the things that they have in common?
Uh-huh.
And for me, I've seen like a lot of the doctors, the lawyers, you know the uh, the people in real estate, the people in so I started looking at all these things, the nurses and stuff like that, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
started looking at all the things and said, boils down to one thing. These people, they have a license, right? They
Mm-hmm.
have. So for me, I look at it like, hey, if you kind of want to be ahead of the game, you gotta whatever you're gonna choose. If it's something that you have to get a license, it's probably gonna put you. For me, a license is better than a 4-year college degree because I see
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people that have a license. It could be a plumber, right? It could be, a plumber. It could be think about those people who come to your house to fix certain things. They're licensed, right? That
Yep.
person can charge you, $200 an hour if they want to, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could be a mechanic. It could be. So I just started looking at it and say, you know what? What I learned is with my kids, I'm not gonna just say, all right, finish high school and go to college. When they're in high school, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
ask them. I'm gonna say, hey, what thing that you want to do in the future, right? I want them
Mm-hmm.
to get into real estate, but they're like, nah, we don't want to get to your real estate stuff.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But so let's say somebody tells me like, I like to be an accountant, right? So the way I'm gonna do with my kids is when they're in high school, I'm gonna get them in internships, right? In those type of fields. Of course, she's not gonna be an accountant, when she's doing internship, but I want to put her in that surrounding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of an
Mm-hmm.
accountant. She might be somebody who's gonna just be doing the paperwork and putting the paperwork, papers away and stuff like that. But I want her to be in that environment so that when she says she's gonna go to college and be an accountant, she already has an idea, what kind of stuff that an accountant does. Because I see a lot of people. I see. I just see like a lot of people. You finish high school, and then you are told you finish high school, you go to college. You go to college, and people just pick whatever they want to pick, right? 2, 3,
Mm-hmm.
4 years down the road, you graduate, but you graduate with like 100,000 in debt, 150,000 in debt, and you don't
Mm-hmm.
even end up, doing that, whatever you studied, you don't end up doing that kind of job. You end up doing
Yeah.
something else,
Uh-huh.
right?
Okay.
So for me, I would say people always have to understand that the school is a business. It's a business, right? Remember, you go to college, and they tell you to take certain things, and you always ask yourself, why do I take all these subjects, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yep.
don't really for my career. So you gotta be, you gotta look at it different. Forget about the old school. Your parents telling you go to school, go to high school, go to college. No, forget about all that. You gotta look back and say, why am I going to college,
Okay.
right? Maybe I
Mm-hmm.
don't need to go to college. Maybe I don't need to go to college. I'm the kind of person that I don't need to go to college, right? But it could be a kid, right? It could be a kid that maybe all they need to do is, go do something like, they want to be an electrician, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
sign them up for them to be an electrician, rather than you trying to push them to do what you think it's right, but that's not what they really, have to do.
All right. All right.
Does that
So
make
I'm
sense?
about. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. So give us some parting words. I'm gonna wrap it up. Give us some parting words. So if what are you gonna tell the infinite creators? What do you want to leave with them so they can remember? What advice would you give them as we wrap up this session right now?
So number one, I'm gonna say, never give up in what you're trying to do. Give it time, right? Don't be in a rush. Whatever that you're trying to do, if you've tried for the past 2 years, 3 years, see where you're going wrong, right? Maybe you might mentor, right? Maybe you might need a mentor to walk you through that path. So you never give up. And then this one right here is very important. I'm gonna say your attitude, right? Your attitude will your attitude will depend on your all right, your altitude will depend on your attitude. Your
Facts.
altitude will depend on your attitude. So you want to go, you want to keep on advancing in life, you got to have the proper attitude, right? You got to
Mm-hmm.
have a proper attitude. So I mean, that's the basic, those are the two things that I'll say, to you guys. And I wish them well, and hopefully one day we get to meet, and with your viewers. I would love to meet them, one on one, face to face, and hopefully something that I said today, will make a difference in somebody's life. You know what I mean? Um, but you can always, give them my information, and they can, reach out to me directly. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Um, that's all
So
I gotta say, man.
all right, we appreciate Mr. Great. We gonna wrap this up. We appreciate Mr. Great. Thank you guys for showing up. Make sure you like, you share, and you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like, you share, and subscribe to the channel. We don't compete, we create. You know what I'm saying? We keep
That's
on
right.
creating, we keep on creating, we keep on evolving. All right? We will meet. Yo, Lucky's gonna start. These guys are messing with me right now. But like I
Yeah.
said, I respect the divinity in you. I salute the divinity in each and every one, last one of you. Thank you guys for showing up. And we got some more good things to come. I want to appreciate. I want to say thank you to Mr. Great. I humbly bow before you. Thanks for sharing with us tonight. You're doing big things. Me, you working on some things. So I'm gonna hold you to being great. All right.
For real, brother. For real, man. We're gonna make it great, man.
Let's make it great. So I want to
Yeah.
say, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and to share to the channel. And where can they find your channel? What we is it Sam? Spell it for them. Spell it for them.
Well, I'll say
On
right now, I
YouTube.
mean, I'm on social media, I'm on Facebook. So if somebody
Okay.
really, need to reach out to me, they can go just put my first name, Samson Kimani,
Okay.
on Facebook. You can, you'll find me over there. But if you want to call me directly, 508-813-3697, 508-813-3697. You better call me with a great attitude.
There you
Or I'm
guys
gonna
have it.
hang up on you. No, I'm just kidding.
There you guys have it, aka Sam, aka Mr. Great. Thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate you. Once again, I'm humbly bow before you, brother. You take care. Peace.
You too, man. Take care.
All right, guys. Later.